folks, Dinko again. I'm back after missing for quite some time. As you all know, I have been interviewing people from other countries who have come to the US, lived here or visited for quite some time. This time we're gonna flip it. I interviewed somebody who went to Africa, experienced some stuff. So some of the encounters are funny, some of them are educational, so it's a mixture of everything. So I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. So we're gonna start our interview with my guest introducing herself. Enjoy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Shackelford. I am a senior studying political science at the University of Chicago. I am originally from St. Louis, born and raised, and yeah. Oh, and I use the she, her pronouns.
All right, thank you. So what was your expectation before you left for Senegal? What was the picture in your head about the weather, the people, the food? Just tell me a little bit about that.
I really thought it was going to be a lot hotter than it ended up being. Temperatures range from like 60 to maybe 80s, like at the highest. It never broke 90. I definitely packed a lot of lighter fabric clothes because I thought I was going to be sweating a lot. And then another kind of impression that I had in my mind was I was really concerned about dress and clothing. And so I had looked up a lot of traditional Senegalese clothing for women. So like that was a really strong image that I had in my head. And so I brought a lot of clothes that were more conservative, and it turned out once I got there, I really didn't need to be as conservative as I thought I needed to be. I was told like years back in Senegal, probably would have dressed more conservatively as a woman, but in the present day, it wasn't very different. Food, I imagined that there would be a lot of fish, and I was correct. There was a lot of fish, but I love fish, so it was perfectly fine.
So there was no bacon for you. Were you
There,
disappointed?
there was bacon only at the American stores or the American like stall in the market. So you could get American bacon. Can't say I ever did, but I know that was an option.
So before you left for Senegal, when you told your parents and then family members and friends, what was the feedback about? Like when you told them, I'm going to Africa.
I would say from my friends, the feedback was very positive. From my family, it was a bit more like they were nervous for my safety. A lot of them also just didn't. I realize that my family is a lot more xenophobic than they come off as, but it was because I never left the country for this long of a period of time without my parents or anyone else in my family. So, like I remember one of my aunts straight up told me like, I'm not comfortable with you going, but I'm gonna let you go. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go anyway. Um, but yeah, they also like none of my family knew what country I was in. You could
Yeah.
hear my dad or my grandma be like, yeah, she was in Kenya for 3 weeks. And I'm just like, you're not even in the ballpark, or Ghana. At least Ghana's closer to Senegal than Kenya and South Africa. But it's like
Yeah.
you're not even. Oh, Morocco was another one. Those are the names that apparently I was studying abroad in
Yeah.
those countries.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's hilarious. So once you get there, how did you adjust with the food? Were you open to try all of it then, or yeah, tell me about that.
So we were all open to trying a lot of different foods. We all got sick. And by sick, I just mean like, you know,
Yeah.
diarrhea. Everyone had their Imodium, all that stuff.
Um,
The national dish of Senegal is chebujen, so like that's what I think of when I hear Senegalese food. And chebujen just means fish and rice, and normally it's like grilled, like seared, like a whole fish just on top of like a plate of rice. Very delicious. Yeah, another thing was like when it came to any type of meat, there was a lot more bones in it than I'm used to in America, so that I had to eat slower because I had to be careful for the bones. Like you rarely ever found fish without bones in it, unless it was like a kebab. They sometimes sold meat on a kebab stick. That's when it didn't have bones, but otherwise, um, there was a lot of bones in the food. But I thought the food was delicious. I have zero complaints.
You were not overwhelmed when you went to Senegal. Culturally, you did not have any culture shock.
I think that would be too nice to say. I think when I got there personally, I was because like I said, we stayed with host families. I was just shocked that, when it came time to take a shower, like I was handed a bucket and that was it, like a bucket of water, and it was like if you want hot water, go boil it. So I definitely think there was some culture shock and a moment of like, oh gosh, can I really do this for 9 weeks? I think for a lot of the women, and me included, the idea that a lot of Senegalese restrooms had bidets and no toilet paper, that's like completely opposite to what you find in America. Like in Senegal, unless you were in a hotel where they expect a lot of tourists, or a restaurant where they expect a lot of tourists,
Like,
there would be toilet
yeah,
paper.
yeah.
But yeah, so I think that was probably a big culture shock, like having to have like little packs of tissue or an actual roll of toilet paper on you at all times because you never know if there's going to be toilet paper in a bathroom. That was like something that and the men included, like all students just had to get used to. We had to get used to sharing. Like someone went to the bathroom, it's like, hey, anyone have any tissue? All right, thanks, great. So yeah.
Since you brought it up, I'm glad you brought it up too, because the toilets in Africa are not the Western standard, or like there is no toilet seat. Did you come across that? And how was the experience?
So when I got off the plane in the Senegal airport in Dakar, and I went to the bathroom, and I just walked in, and it was just a literal hole on the floor. I was like,
In the
oh,
airport?
nah, bro. Like, what'd you say?
In the airport?
In the airport, I was like, bro, I don't know if I can do this. But I was with my friend who had also flown from America and was also my program. She's like, well, it is what it is, and like walked straight into the bathroom, and I was like, oh no. And it didn't have toilet paper. But like at that point I didn't know to have toilet paper on me at all times. Any point after that, I would always have toilet paper, no. But yeah, I would say I learned how to squat. How to squat over a toilet and hover. My friend who actually was my housemate, who was the Senegalese student that was with us, she was like, yeah, I don't sit on toilets in Senegal. I was like, okay. She's like, nope, you got to squat on all of them. A lot of them didn't have toilet seats anyway, so you couldn't sit.
Like, I know the process is kind of difficult when it's your first time because you don't want to poop on the side. You know what I'm saying? You have to aim. For me, it's so easy. I grew up doing that, but I just want to hear it from an American perspective.
I would say I definitely like got some thigh muscles out of it from squatting and hovering, like full squatting, just like completely on the floor because it's the hole in the floor. Um, Trying to aim, like you said. I would say it wasn't too bad. I think a lot of us just had an open mind going into that program, so we were just ready for anything at that point. I think once I got food poisoning, or I think I got food poisoning. Um,
Wow.
yeah, like week 8 maybe, like right before I left. At that point, I was like, okay, I need American bathrooms again because because I had food poisoning, so nothing was staying down, coming up both ways. So at that point, that was when I said to myself, I was like, all right, I'm ready for American plumbing again. And it was interesting because Senegalese toilets like didn't flush like any city I went to in Senegal too. It wasn't just Dakar. Didn't flush like American toilets do. It was kind of just like it fills with water until the stuff flushes down, or a lot of times you go to flush it and it doesn't work, so there's always a bucket. There never failed to be a bucket next to the toilet so that you were ready. Sometimes you had to fill it up with water, sometimes it was full, so that you were ready to pour it into the toilet and
Yeah.
push everything away. So yeah.
Wow, that's so funny. Okay, so now we have a lot of stereotype about Americans. Once people found out you were from America, did you come across some crazy stuff they say to you or they ask you or things like that? The stereotype they had.
I think a lot of people actually thought I was French. And what I even noticed, like people would say I walked up to a boutique, people would be speaking in Wolof, and then as soon as I walk up, they switch to French. Once people heard me speaking English, a lot of people wanted me to help them with their English. So walking to school, my friend Fatu and I were speaking in English, and we had a lady actually come up to us and was just like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be an architect. I want to move to the United States. Like, please help me with my English. Here's my number. Give me a call anytime." I think that was just a kind of trope that I encountered once people realized that I was American.
Mhm. You mentioned about people asking you number. When we met in person, you told me about these marriage proposals you received from many men, and you came back single. What happened? Why did you reject people's proposal and tackles and roles?
So in Senegal, polygamy is very widely accepted, and so we actually studied polygamy in our first class about the history of Senegal, and specifically polygamy within Islam, specifically polygyny, which is a man having multiple wives, not the other way around. So we learned that it's very common for Senegalese men to take on a second wife who's normally younger than their first wife, more energetic, like it's considered like the fun, like friendly wife, the adventurous wife, stuff like that.
Did you know this before you left for Senegal?
It's funny that you asked that because in our handbook, our student handbook that we got from U Chicago before we went, there was just a brief section on like Senegalese society moves very fast. Ergo, they believe in love at first sight. Ergo, you will probably come home with a marriage, at least one marriage proposal, man or woman, it doesn't matter. So yeah, we were actually told about that by one of our program coordinators on like a meeting that we had before the trip. So we kind of knew. So a lot of my friends who are women wore fake wedding rings, like just around. Like I don't know where they got it from the pawn shop or something like that. So they actually wore fake wedding rings. I wear rings normally, so like I would be like, oh yeah, I have a husband. But as soon as you say you have a husband, it's like, but do you have a Senegalese husband? And polygamy is a thing, so it's like you can have more than one husband if you want,
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that. But yeah, so that's another aspect of Senegalese culture is they definitely believe in love at first sight.
Okay. So if Americans want to visit or go to Senegal for any reason, any advice, any tips you have for them?
Yeah, I would just say keep an open mind. I had a Spanish teacher in high school who would always tell me like, don't say that something is weird, just say it's different. Like this is just a different culture than what you're used to. That doesn't make it weird. So definitely just keep an open mind. I would say in America, we're used to paying for things with credit cards, and that is like not the case at all in Senegal. So be ready to have cash, pay for cash with everything, especially small bills. Um, and then just in general, like just don't be afraid when people are staring at you. They're staring at you because you look different.
What is one lesson you learn and you would like us in America learn that you brought from Senegal?
Um, I think Senegal taught me the most that we can greet each other when we walk into a room. Like I feel like being in Senegal compared to like when I came back to America, I'm like, dang, these people are rude. Like I don't remember people being this rude. That's because I lived in a society for 9.5 weeks where everyone would greet you when you walked in somewhere. So it's just like I think we can learn to actually talk to each other, communicate with each other, and normalize, saying, "How are you? How you doing? Like, what's up?" Checking in with each other, and walking away.
Yeah. Finally, anything hilarious, anything funny that made you really laugh or that you want to share with us?
Um, I would say this one interaction I had with a guy who I was like, so I got really quick at lying, like coming up with the lies when somebody proposed to me or all that stuff. I told this guy, and that's funny because I actually did get COVID. I told this man, he asked for a drink of my water bottle. I was sitting down on a rock waiting for my friend to buy some fruit from this stand. This guy came up and was like, "Can I have some of that water?" And number one, if somebody asks you to have some of your water, I was told by my friend who's Senegalese, they're like, they will take your bottle and put their mouth on it, and then you don't even want it back. Like, they're not gonna waterfall it and not touch it. They're literally gonna put their whole mouth on it. And I told him, I was like, I have Corona. And he was like, no, you don't. Corona doesn't exist here. And I was like, sir, Corona is everywhere. Don't even try me right now. And he was like, not Senegal. And he was like fully convinced. He was like, the coronavirus is not a thing in Senegal. Senegal, there was this phrase, Senegal rec, which means like only Senegal, like Senegal on top of everything. Like, that's what he kept saying. He was like, Senegal on top of everything. Like, Senegal can't be beaten by Corona. Like, all that stuff. So I thought that was hilarious.
So he took your water?
And then I eventually, I gave him my water. And then I eventually got COVID. So I was like, dang, now I shouldn't even. Yeah. And my friend told me, she was like, like, I don't know, I'd be careful about saying you have COVID because somebody on the street could tell the police and they could come pick you up and take you to sanitation, stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to stop using that excuse.
Oh, wow. But you got COVID though anyway, after you gave your water.
Yeah, I actually did get COVID. So,
okay.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I thought it was funny. That man was in denial completely.
That's so funny. Thank you so much. If there's anything else you would like to add.
I would just say shout out to Senegal for qualifying for the World Cup. Period. Leave it at that. Yep. Leave it at that. He was talking to town. Let me add that. So it was really cool seeing the city of Dakar like blow up after Senegal won the African Cup of Nations, because that was the first time winning. The president of Senegal canceled school for everyone the next day. There was a big party. All the players came into town. That was really cool seeing people like share a love for a sport that like you really don't see in America. Like, I can't say like even during the Super Bowl, which is like the most televised sporting event in America, you don't see like a parade of cars down the street in the city who won or anything like that. So that was just a really cool experience, seeing people just be proud of their country and proud of their team for winning that.
Thank you so much, Claire, for your time. And once again, welcome back home, where McDonald's is everywhere and you can buy any sweets anywhere, anytime.
Anytime, and Starbucks.
And and all the best to you at your school. And that's it. Thank you, everyone. And, have a good time.
Thank you.